Previously on F1.
Takes the victory. Lewis Hamilton wins. That was a devastating performance. Oh, he's up in the air.
He's
Look
got
at that.
wide.
And he's lost his front wing. What a race.
We've got an absolute belter here.
Round 16, Korea.
To win the championship here is fantastic. I mean, there's so many things that you want to say in this moment, but it's hard to remember all of them.
Then, guys, the chance to crown Sebastian Vettel as world champion. He's broken records all throughout his career. Will we see another record today?
Are you playing the percentage game or are you going for glory?
For glory, I think that's what we're here.
Sebastian, you're the 2011 world champion. Well done.
I'm just, so thankful to everyone in the team, and it's great to achieve the goal that we set ourselves going into this year.
This is the Hall of Fame that you are joining. These are your fellow back-to-back Formula One world champions.
Incomparable factor.
Jack Brabham pushes his way.
Alain Prost is within sight of his second lead. Goes Ayrton Senna. Schumacher will be world champion. Mika Hakkinen wins in Japan.
Fernando Alonso wins. The champion is Sebastian Vettel.
What a star indeed. And that's about as indulgent as you can be when reflecting on the past in this sport already. For this team, for this car, and the man driving it, life has moved on. It's all about today. It's all about another Grand Prix, all about picking up another trophy and adding another win to your CV. Thank you very much once again for getting up bright and early and joining us for live Formula One here on the BBC. David Coulthard is with me. No Eddie Jordan this weekend, but last weekend the three of us got a really close-up, privileged look at Sebastian becoming the world champion. And I suppose the one word to describe that Sunday evening in Japan would just be emotional.
Yeah, we saw the tears in his eyes as he was watching and realising actually the enormity of his achievement. Some great drivers have won back-to-back championships, and he is a man that appreciates history, so it was a wonderful moment to spend.
And you were with him the following day, apart from presumably a little bit of a hangover. What was he like? Was he quite reflective?
He was indeed very reflective. He was talking about you've got to be comfortable with the man you see in the mirror. He said that he doesn't always feel comfortable with that man, but on balance, of course, across
What are you trying to say, Daniel?
Across the course of the season,
very good.
He is comfortable with how he's defended this championship and how he's won his second championship.
There you go. And he wasn't even out of bed at 6 o'clock this morning. Imagine how you'd be if you were standing on live television at such an hour. It is just gone 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. We're less than an hour away until the race begins. And this race is very much a celebration for Sebastian Vettel, who is a complete global star because he's won the world title as we have travelled the globe. So far, he's enjoyed 15 different countries, 15 different races. We've had 4 different winners. And talking of different, there's nowhere we visit quite like South Korea. good morning. And I think it's important to say, actually, that you can see behind us the grandstand is already filling up. There were thousands of fans as we came out to make our way over to the pit lane. David, have you put your teeth in now? Are you ready to answer another question?
Indeed, yes.
Good. What have you made then of South Korea? It's your first trip here. We can see all the entertainment on the pit lane. You can't say that they haven't made an effort.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit guilty. When I first turned up here, I was feeling a bit underwhelmed. You know, the location of the track is very near a very industrial area here in South Korea. But as the weekend has gone on, and I've spent a bit of time talking to some of the local Koreans, and you can see the effort they've put on here, they actually are getting behind this Grand Prix. And since we arrived first thing this morning, there's been a lot of people coming into the track. I expect a full crowd.
And I took you out, I showed you the sights and sounds of the local town, Mokpo. What did you make of it?
Well, there's a lot of neon.
There is a lot of neon, yeah.
It's a good place to start a neon business. Yeah, we went to a really nice restaurant. There was good energy, and there was lots of families out enjoying themselves. So I think, as you mentioned in one of the previews yesterday, there's a high IQ in this country, and they're making good use of it.
I think what people do is they look at the fact that we're 5 hours on a bus from Seoul, we're a long way from a big city like that, we're in a very rural area, but it's important to point out that you have to make an effort to get here, but when you do, it's a special track and the drivers love racing here.
Yeah, I was talking to a number of the drivers last night. There's only one main hotel beside the track, everyone was hanging out there, and they love this middle section. You know, the beginning of the lap is just sitting there for 1.2 kilometres. Yes, you get up to 200 miles an hour, but they're used to that. But the middle section, they take a breath and they get stuck into it. And especially in qualifying on low fuel with DRS, do they open it, do they not? And yeah, there's a lot of wide-eyed and excited drivers.
Okay, we're now going to spin our crew round and do a choreographed move and make our way down the pit lane, because we've already discussed how special it is to be here in Korea. We've already talked about how brilliant Sebastian's win was. What we haven't really talked about much, though, the past week, nobody has, is that win for Jenson Button. Is it almost a case of, because a title's been won, this win has been overlooked, a bit like Mark Webber in Brazil in 2009?
Well, it's inevitable when the championship has been decided that the main focus is going to be on that. But that was a fantastic victory for Jenson. He had to control his emotions at the beginning of the race when he was felt that, he thought that Sebastian was a little bit aggressive as he pushed him over towards the grass. He was passed by Lewis. Never a good thing when you know you've got two cars in front of you in victory. Thereafter, he managed the tyres, like we've seen him do time and time again, come through and won the race with just enough fuel to cross the line and park the car. Fantastic victory.
And as much as Sebastian's been crowned the world champion, the man who you saw just there will be the man full of confidence, because that man is Jenson Button, who won the last race, and that means the gap between him and Sebastian Vettel is now 114 points. However, only 100 points left up for grabs this year, which means Jenson cannot catch Sebastian. He's now looking over his shoulder at the likes of Fernando, Mark and Lewis, who are all chasing second place. And if we take a quick look at the Constructors' title, well, this weekend it can all be wrapped up by Red Bull. Their aim is to make sure that they either do better than McLaren or equal McLaren's result. If that happens, then Red Bull are going to be the Constructors' champions this weekend, and then they will have made it 2 titles in 2 weekends, and we're outside Jenson's garage. He'll make his way in here very soon and gear up to go out. But where will he be starting on the grid? Well, that victory in Japan meant that so far this season McLaren have managed to win a third of all the races. On Saturday, though, they've never managed to beat Red Bull. Could they do it yesterday?
Isn't it just typical? Sebastian Vettel wraps up the championship in Japan, and a week later in Korea we're treated to the most exciting, unpredictable and competitive qualifying of the year. It's been 14 years since Williams won a championship, and Rubens Barrichello was the first big name knocked out after struggling all weekend. He starts 18th. Michael Schumacher missed the top 10 after a wheel vibration slowed him down. And while Bruno Senna may have been enjoying his 28th birthday, his qualifying produced nothing to celebrate. 15th, which doesn't help his Renault team's quest for points as they try and maintain 5th in the Constructors' Championship.
Today didn't go quite to plan, but it's my first bad qualifying of the year, and I hope that tomorrow will be a better day. So in the end of the day, these things happen, and sometimes you don't get everything out of the car. Vitali did a great job, so the car is consistent, and hopefully there'll be the right setup for tomorrow.
The Force Indias did their usual trick of making it into the top 10 shootout, but electing not to set a time in order to save tyres. That allowed Vitaly Petrov and Nico Rosberg to start ahead of them on the grid. Felipe Massa out-qualified teammate Fernando Alonso for the second time in successive races. Massa has not been given Ferrari's new and improved front wing this weekend. That's gone to Alonso, but Fernando isn't sure if the wing made things better or worse.
Was the new wing working okay? Because you had it, Felipe didn't, and yet he's still in front of you. That's the answer then.
Maybe. I was able to do a good lap, even not having the the new front wing. So I think it was very positive for me, and really looking forward to have a good race.
That left an intense final few minutes as McLaren tried to end Red Bull's domination of qualifying. Mark Webber lost time on the exit of turn 1, so is just 4th on the grid. Jenson Button's 3rd after hitting the rev limiter at the last corner. McLaren are at a slight disadvantage to Red Bull on race strategy after Red Bull managed to save 3 sets of new tyres, whereas McLaren only have 2 new sets for the race. Tyres aside, it was an eventful last lap for Sebastian Vettel. Red Bull chose to be last on the track to set a lap, but they were running out of time to fit new tyres and refuel.
Quick in lap, we need time for turnaround.
In his haste to get back to the pits, Vettel cut the corner of turn 5, which is against the rules. The stewards later investigated, but decided Vettel had not gained an advantage and let him off. The world champion made his final run with 17 seconds to spare, but it wasn't good enough. Lewis Hamilton had parked his personal problems in the garage and drove a stunning lap for his first pole position of the season, ending Red Bull's 16-race run.
It's been a roller coaster of a year, so it's great to be there. It is great to be there, and it's definitely a better starting position for tomorrow. But tomorrow's the most important day, and we've got to see how that goes. I'm looking just focus and put all of my energy to tomorrow.
I was a bit surprised in Q3 to see how close we were, because in Q2 we were quite far behind. Yes, we ran a little bit of a different strategy regarding the tyres. Whether that turns out to be an advantage or not, we'll see. We hope to take the fight onto them tomorrow, and we should be in good shape. Probably a little bit better in the race than last week.
All their tyres are new now, whereas one of ours has got 3-time laps, so it might turn out that it really works for them, but hopefully by the time we put on our used set of tyres, if we ever do, we'll be so far in the lead it won't matter.
So Lewis Hamilton on pole and looking for a win to cheer himself up. Sebastian Vettel is alongside and has a better race strategy with those new tyres. Button pleased to be on the clean side of the grid and gunning for Vettel off the line. Mark Webber leads the Ferraris, who are sure to be a factor in the race. Rosberg and Petrov lead the Force Indias of Di Resta and Sutil. Jaime Alguersuari outqualifies Michael Schumacher in the Mercedes, while Kamui Kobayashi is the lead Sauber, only 14th. 16th and 18th for Williams, but at least Barrichello has some new tyres for the race. Heikki Kovalainen wins the battle of the new teams, while Daniel Ricciardo is allowed to start the race despite not qualifying after a water leak.
Yes, things can only get better from here for Daniel Ricciardo, and take a look at these. Only a week ago, Lewis told us that he can't see very much out of his wing mirrors. Well, he may well need them today because he starts at the front. 700 Grand Prix this weekend for McLaren. Red Bull were looking for a record number of poles in the season. How good would it have felt for this team yesterday?
I think, as we heard from Martin Whitmarsh yesterday, it's very important for a team to show that they have, the right combination of driver and car. Right from the get-go, Lewis Hamilton was looking like the man most likely in wet conditions, and all through all the free practice sessions he was fastest, and it was a fantastic lap. Whatever problems he may or may not have off track, in the car he was supreme.
Yeah, it was great hearing you and Martin clearly enjoying Lewis's driving. So he did his talking on the track yesterday, but Lewis has also had quite a lot of very interesting stuff to say off the track.
People will be asking, what the problems are. I mean, is that something you can shed any light on?
Nope. It's just, I can't really explain. There isn't. I'm still trying to figure that out, so.
Will a win change all that and get you back to happy, Lewis?
I don't think so. I think a win would be great for the team, but I think it would take some time and take a lot to recover from the difficulties we've had this year.
Finally, something other than a Red Bull on pole position. Lewis Hamilton takes it.
Well, Lewis, congratulations, your first pole position in a long time, but it seems you've got your swagger back.
Yeah.
Is it an emotional pole position for yourself?
No, not really. It's been a roller coaster of a year. Probably one of the first positives I've had for a while, and to be back on pole and is a great feeling, of course. And I've had some difficult races in the past, so hopefully we'll try to redeem myself tomorrow.
Well, smiling has been a rare thing to see Lewis Hamilton do this weekend, David, and probably the most telling moment of the weekend when he's just taken his first pole of the year. He climbs out of the car, and this is Lewis's body language afterwards, which probably tells us just as much as any of those interviews that we've just heard. What do you think's going on?
Well, I thought he'd injured his back or something. He got out of the car so slowly. Yeah, it's confusing. It was a fantastic drive. There's no question about it. He's had that car by the scruff of the neck, and he delivered a beautiful lap. he's clearly got some other issues going on in his mind. I think he just needs a break. Since he arrived in Formula One, he has been under an incredible spotlight. Almost won the World Championship his first year, delivered it the second year, and it's been relentless pressure. And I know people at home may say, oh, poor little wealthy racing driver, but you've got to walk a mile in any man's shoes to know exactly what that's like. And I think that, you know, he's delivering the pace, he's got talent in abundance, but I think he just needs to get away from the end of this season and recover, because if he's not happy with the pole position, then victory is only going to make him a little bit less, unhappy. I think he just needs to get away and enjoy a long winter break and regroup for next year.
Okay, well, you have walked a mile in Lewis Hamilton's shoes. We can see he's just appeared in the back of the garage there, and you don't have to look far to see the number of people around him, his support network, his friends in the team. When you drove for this team and you're having struggles, we know that you had an issue in qualifying for a period of your career. Did you get the support that you needed? Was there that tenderness of touch from McLaren?
Absolutely. McLaren, they put on an extra test for me just to work on different issues in 96. You know, when teams are prepared to do that, they're committed. They employ the driver to deliver their absolute best, and it's the team's responsibility to give them the best car out there, and then all the support that the driver needs. You know, they're all peculiar individuals in their own way, and the teams react to that. You know, a team like McLaren has been 700 Grand Prix. They've dealt with a lot of great drivers and a lot of average drivers, but they've always known how to get the best out of them.
And if Lewis can drive like that when he's not 100% happy, we can't wait till he's smiling again and winning races, because he's a fascinating and exciting guy to watch.
He's fantastic, and Lewis, with a smile on his face, he's a character, and that's what we want to see back again, because this is a wonderful opportunity in his life. This should be the happiest moments of his life in many ways, so hopefully he'll be able to get that big toothy grin showing to us all again soon.
Okay, fantastic. Well done, Lewis Hamilton. There he is, the man who starts on pole position for this Grand Prix. Just a few rows behind him is a man starting 13th and who hasn't got next year's drive confirmed just yet. He's a man under pressure, and he's a man with Lee McKenzie.
Thanks. Yes, I'm joined by Sebastian Buemi. Sebastian, you start 13th for today's race. I imagine a points finish is what you're hoping for.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we didn't have a lot of running on Friday. Obviously, it was wet. Today's going to be a dry race, but still, yesterday we had a long run, which was quite promising. So I hope we can finish in the top 10. Yeah.
How much is the Constructors' Championship in your mind helping Toro Rosso to get into that midfield battle with Sauber and Force India?
I mean, it's in everyone's mind in all the team, but I believe we have a chance to finish and fight against Sauber. Yesterday we were in front of them in the qualifying, and we are very close to Force India. So if everything goes well, we might overtake them, but it's definitely going to be hard. We will fight hard, but I still think we have our chance.
And what about you for next year? Do you feel you're in a battle to keep your seat as well? Obviously, there's a lot of young guys out there who are desperate to get that chance.
I think it's part of the Red Bull Junior team to give the opportunity to some young drivers to test the cars. This weekend we had Jean-Eric on Friday, and it's always also good for us, you know, like that you have a good comparison point, and you know what you are doing. And then I think I will concentrate as much as possible on the remaining races before thinking about next year.
Okay, well, I hope you have a great day. Thanks, Sebastian.
Thank you very much.
Okay, a bit of pressure on Sebastian Buemi at the moment, and maybe pressure on all the drivers. As we walked out to the garage there, David looked up to the sky. A bit overcast all of a sudden. It was blue sky 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, it is, and I just spoke with Phil Prue, one of the senior engineers at McLaren, and he's watching very closely the local radar, but the word we have is no rain for the next 30 minutes at least.
Okay, a quick mention about Sebastian. Would you like to be a young driver in F1 at the moment? There are 4 men for 2 seats at Toro Rosso, 4 men for 2 seats at Force India. Reportedly 20 drivers lining themselves up for Williams next season. It's cutthroat.
It is, but it's always been the same. It doesn't matter how many seats are available, there's always 3 times as many drivers that can put their hat in the ring. Cream rises to the top, they say, so in the end, when the music stops, we'll find out who goes where.
Okay, well, certainly Vitaly Petrov has risen to the top this year. He had a bit of a struggle in his first year in Formula One, and this was a classic example of the kind of moments that he was experiencing. This is on lap 40 of this race last year. You can see it had been wet. He just stepped on the curb, he lost the back end of the car, and he ended up retiring from the race. An all too familiar story for Vitaly, but how's he feeling on 12 months later?
Well, Vitaly, the engines are starting. You're about to get in the car. What's the plan for the start this year?
You never know, what's going on the start. But yeah, position P8 is a little bit dirty side, so it will be difficult to win some places. But anyway, looks like everything is ready. We have a good analysis from what we will do, and yeah, we hope we hope we can pass some people.
Are you going to have to make an early pit stop because your tyres have already done 6 laps?
I cannot tell you, but we have some idea what to do, and you will see. I think it will work.
But important day, important to get points for Renault, who need the points.
Definitely, this is my target. My target is finish first of all in front of Force India, and then maybe try to fight with Rosberg.
Have a good race, thanks.
Well done, Vitali. Strong qualifying from him yesterday. His teammate Bruno Senna not so impressive. And this is the car belonging to Fernando Alonso that starts right in front of Petrov on the grid today, starting 6th. Now, the message at the start of this year from Ferrari was clear. We're going to win the world title. With 4 races left, the bare facts are this. They've won 1 Grand Prix.
Winning a Formula 1 Grand Prix is a very special feeling, but winning at Silverstone, which, the tradition, the history in Formula 1 in the UK is the best, and, has been a fantastic feeling. A trophy that probably will be in the best place in the 2011 season at home.
It was a slow start in 2010 and a slow start to this year. You've really picked up in the second half of the season, but hitting the ground running in March is so important now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's important, and we know that this year it was a different problem. We had, everybody knows already now, we have a correlation problems between wind tunnel and track, so we were putting new pieces in the car from February to April, more or less, that in the wind tunnel they were working okay, but in the track they were negative. So we found ourselves with a car in April that was slower than the February car, and we understood this maybe too late, and that was the biggest mistake of this year.
So when you go to Maranello and you talk to the team about 2012, what's your message to them?
Well, we need to be more aggressive, we need to be more creative with the car, we need to not always follow others' ideas, we need to have our own ideas and our own direction of developing the car and philosophy of developing the car. And I think the team is doing a great job for next year's car. Everyone is so focused. The determination in the team is quite high to come back of a winning period. So I think next year, hopefully in March, already from the first race, we start in a competitive package.
You left here last year, the leader in the Drivers' Championship. I remember the post-race interview where you were full of confidence for winning the title. Red Bull took the title and they've defended it this year. What have the garage 2 doors down done since 12 months ago that you haven't managed to, do you think?
I think they keep developing the car, they keep having new ideas that we were maybe not so aggressive on that, we were maybe too conservative in some of the ideas of the new car, and we were behind. So when you have to copy the others' ideas, you are always 2 or 3 months behind. So it's something that I think we learned in the last 2 years, and for next year we know the direction to go.
And your concerns that even now the updates the team are bringing don't seem to be giving you the speed that you desire?
There has been very few updates, to be honest, in the last 4 or 5 Grand Prix. A new front wing was the only one maybe we get, and we know that it has not to be immediately quicker. It's just an idea, a different philosophy of developing the car, which is more towards 2012 car. So we are quite calm and quite relaxed about the performance of the car now. We know that we will struggle in the remaining races to the end of the championship, but we need to be very, very cool on that and try to think in the future.
You've been here for 2 seasons now. Is Ferrari all you dreamt it would be?
Yeah, definitely. It was a dream to drive for this team, and now that after 2 years I have some more experience, I have to say that has been even better than I thought. In this team you can feel the passion of motor racing, you can feel the heart in all the things they do, from the first mechanic to the last engineer, and extremely happy to be here. But we know that there are a lot of expectations when you race for Ferrari, so before or later you have to deliver, and the championship is the ultimate goal, and we want to fight for that next year.
Okay, thanks Fernando. And for all of those Ferrari fans watching this back home in the UK, wanting you to deliver the title next year. What would your message be to them?
Be calm, and next year we all start from zero. No one in Ferrari is thinking now that we cannot achieve that. A lot of expectations, but it's a nice challenge that we all want to deliver next year. So I'm very optimistic.
And David, I imagine when Fernando wants to, he can apply quite a bit of pressure to the management back in Maranello.
Yeah, I think it's part of his personality. He is a double world champion, of course. He was the benchmark, probably still one of the benchmarks in Formula One in terms of drivers, and he knows what it takes to win. So he'll be very, very firm with the management. He'll be firm with the engineers and telling them what he needs from this car.
OK, well, the message there was clear from Fernando Alonso, but there's another message, I'm afraid, for all you Ferrari fans tuning in this morning. And, David, you only have to look at the floor of the pit lane to see that message.
Yeah, it may not look like a great deal, but that luminous drips that we can see leaving the garage there, that's Flovis, which is used to help back up aerodynamic information that you get from either CFD or from the wind tunnel. And what they'd be doing is painting that on the new wing that Fernando's been using this weekend, sending the car out on the track and then looking for the witness lines that come from that. It dries very quickly and it leaves the impression of what the actual air has been doing as it passes over the wing. So what they're trying to do is this correlation issue they're discussing, that they have a problem where they take things from the wind tunnel, put it into manufacture, bring it to the track, and it doesn't deliver the characteristics that they're expecting. So using this old-fashioned technique, they'll be trying to actually see what's going on in real time. OK,
so I want you to imagine you're Fernando Alonso. Hard, I know, double world champion. I'm only joking. But I want you to imagine you're sitting in the team.
I'm not sensitive.
Good. You're sitting in the team. You know that the developments haven't been working that they've brought to the team in the last few races. They've been downgrades rather than upgrades. They're still using Flovis paint. It's October. You had a slow start to the year. Red Bull are running away with it. How worried would you be?
To be honest, that was such a long question. You lost me. I was still trying to imagine being Fernando Alonso. I was thinking, right, how much shorter do I have to be? That would look a bit uncomfortable, wouldn't it, for us? Yeah, he, of course, will be disappointed with the development of this car. There's no question about it. But he's not alone in this. You know, this is not all about the driver. There's a huge team of people. Arguably, you've got most of Italy behind you. You know, Ferrari is like a, you know, there's a report in the Italian newspapers every single day about Ferrari's performance. So a whole nation is behind this performance. And he's old enough and wise enough to know that this is a long-term process. There's been some restructuring. Pat Fry has come across. He's was formerly at McLaren, and they're going through the rebuilding process. OK, well, let's get walking. I want to make our way down here because we're going to get right down to the end where Pirelli are based and talk about tyres. I'm still enjoying your Fernando Alonso impression, crouching down and talking about being short. Sadly, I think it was missed by the people at home. But what about Paul di Resta? Well, he starts in the top 10 for this race. When you haven't got a seat confirmed for the following season and you're a few races from the end of the year, strong qualifying is important. A strong race is imperative. And a short time ago, he spoke to Lee McKenzie.
So, Paul, ninth place start for you today. I suppose you're only looking to go forward, but it's a tricky first corner and first lap round here.
It is going to be. You know, it's obviously the quickest first sector we probably do on the calendar. Two very long straights. I think the big uncertainty is nobody's ever done that because last year it was a safety car start in wet conditions. You know, it's going to be a tactic when to use the cars, when to defend. But, you know, the main thing is we're on the clean side of the grid and hopefully, you know, we can get away. And really from there on, again, it's a bit unknown with tyre strategy.
And it's another new circuit for you. As a rookie, how do you approach races like this? Do you watch it on television? I presume you've been in the simulator too at some point.
Yeah, been in the simulator. Obviously, you watch the replays and see what was going on in previous years. But, you know, at the same time, you're always looking for the new trick of the trade. And hopefully you can benefit from that.
And when you got out of the car yesterday, one of the first things you said that you were happy that Sauber was behind you. I presume that's in relation to the Constructors' Championship. How big a thing is that for a driver?
It's a big thing. There's a bit of pressure on us from the team, obviously, to try and maintain sixth in the Constructors' Championship. Last year we lost it by 1 point. And the type of investment for that one place is massive. For a small team like us, it makes a difference. And we're just going to continue our progress. You know, there's 4 races to go with a lot of points up for grabs, and it could easily go one way or the other. But this weekend we've put ourselves in a strong position.
Hopefully you'll get in the points today. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
And that was a few minutes ago as Paul was making his way to the driver's parade. And by the magic of television, we can now show you what's happening live in his garage because Paul is in the car. He's gearing up, his visor's about to go down. As you can hear with the sound of the engines, the pit lane has just opened. The cars are now going to make their way to the grid, where very shortly Martin Brundle will be waiting for them. Thank you very much, Vitaly Petrov. Good morning to you as well. And how wonderful would it feel for Paul di Resta if he could possibly do what Sebastian Vettel has done? Don't forget, a couple of years ago, he was beating Sebastian Vettel, and now Sebastian is the world champion. Here's his season in his own words.
The new world champion, Sebastian Vettel.
I think the season has been, great for us. We had a lot of good races, and even those races where maybe it wasn't looking too good for us, we still, sometimes won or even got a lot of points out of it and finished on the podium.
Pole position, that was some kind of dominant performance from the young German, the reigning world champion.
Yes, we always had the pace, we were very strong on Saturdays, but I think it was never easy, and unlike maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago, pole position didn't mean or didn't guarantee you the race win. So it was a lot of work between when the lights go off and the checkered flag comes down.
Bravery at 200 miles an hour. Nobody would yield, and Vettel came out the winner. Sebastian Vettel, he is the master of Monaco.
To win in Monaco has always been a dream, and to fulfill that dream obviously is exceptional. And the way we did it, by achieving something that many people, including ourselves, thought on Saturday it is impossible to one-stop that race on these tires, but we made it possible, and it worked.
The leader of the championship did not buckle under pressure.
Winning in Barcelona, I think, for every driver is special. We all know the track inside out, but the race we had with a lot of pressure from Lewis at the time behind, and was a lot of work. So there has been a lot of highlights, obviously, but every single one, maybe except Germany, has been great for us. I don't know if it was too complicated now, but I thought you got it.
Well, actually, Sebastian, it wasn't very complicated at all. A very uncomplicated season for him. And just as we try and make our way down to look at these tyres, we've suddenly got some very important-looking Korean people who are arriving, no doubt to go on the grid and enjoy Formula One for a few minutes. But we can't talk about Seb's day today, starting from just behind Lewis Hamilton on the grid. We can't talk about Lewis's race without discussing the tyres. Now, what we've got here are the two options on offer today. We've got the soft tyres and the super softs, or the prime and the option as they're known to David and Martin. Just explain why some teams have described these as aggressive or marginal or just plain mad to bring them to this Grand Prix.
Well, you wouldn't tell when they're sitting here because they both look exactly the same apart from the colour on the outside. But the compound of this tyre, the super soft tyre, is thought to be marginal for this nature of track. It's quite an abrasive track and a very fast middle section. So all of the time you're putting a lot of high-speed energy into the tyre. It's literally just trying to rip the surface from the construction. And what's going on out on the track there, of course, is a chemical reaction. And the more you get close to the point of actually blistering that tyre, then that's the point at which it starts losing serious amounts of rubber. You lose contact patch, and then you're down to the canvas and you have no grip.
Okay, now one of the jobs for the teams is to try and work out the strategy today, and I think it's going to be fascinating for David and Martin to keep across it. And what we saw was very rare. We saw Red Bull going out in the first part of qualifying in Q1 and using up the super soft tyres, which had Ted getting all very confused and not wondering what on earth they were playing at, and then using the softs a little bit later on. Now, what's interesting is that Red Bull have used a lot of super softs and kept all their soft tyres safe and warm and looking lovely like this for the race, whereas Michael Schumacher at Mercedes has used his soft tyres, saying he's got loads of super softs for the race. So two different teams, both employing hundreds of people to work out the best thing to do, yet their ideas are at odds with each other. Why is that?
Well, every car is different, and the way it uses its tyres is very different. The Mercedes car is clearly not as quick as the Red Bull at this moment in time, so it won't put as much energy into the tyres, but then you get into the balance of the individual cars. Is it using more of the front axle? Is it using more of the rear axle? As it happens around this track, there's a much smaller spread in overall performance.
Right.
If you put both these new tyres on your car, around here, on average, it's about 0.7 of a second that you would go faster on this super soft, the option tyre, in the prime. Now, that's half the difference that we saw in Suzuka, where it was 1.4, 1.5 seconds. Now, when you get into a used tyre situation, it's about half that. So then you're in a situation where there'll only be maybe 3 or 4 tenths difference between these two tyres.
Okay.
So Red Bull obviously feel it's better to have 3 sets of these available for the Grand Prix. Hope it'll be a more consistent tyre. Hope that they can maybe get 20 laps out of the tyre. Whereas a new one of these, they think there's maybe only 12 to 15 laps that you can get out of it.
Okay, I hope you're still with us. It's very early in the morning for all this tyre chat. Red Bull have said this is the important tyre to be on. This is the one that we want to be on to win this race. How important, though, is the super soft tyre for that first stint? All of the guys at the front are starting on that tyre. How important to look after it for the first few laps?
Tyre management, that's what we've been seeing more and more this year. They've got no choice, the guys in the top 10, but to start on the tyre they set the fastest lap time. And so for the first 7 guys on the grid, that means they will be going off the track on this tyre, the super soft. It's already done at least 3 laps, an out lap, a time lap and an in lap. So if we think the tyre can only last maybe 7 to 10 laps, then we're going to see people pitting before lap 10 because, you know, simply you're going to have 150, 160 kilos of fuel on board, a lot more weight, a lot more energy going into the car in the low-speed corners. The saving grace, of course, is that the actual lap times are a lot slower than we see in qualifying. So the driver's got to manage that, make decisions on how to use the tyre, and he who dares wins, of course.
Okay, there you go. All that thought and a whole lot more just about the tyres in this race. If you thought it was nice and simple, it clearly isn't. And just to throw another spanner in the works, just as the teams have got their strategy with these 100% sorted, it's overcast, it's very cloudy, we're hearing there may well be a chance of rain, and that's when these babies come into play, the intermediate and the full wet tyre. We had them last year, they didn't do much to keep the cars on the track, but again, essential to work out when to use those tyres.
Yeah, and unlike many other Grand Prix weekends, the teams have had the benefit of running in wet conditions on Friday. So they've all run the full wet, which we can see just in the foreground there with the orange stripe, and they've all been with the intermediate, which is the blue stripe on the side there. So they've got information, they'll know exactly what tyre to use in each of the conditions, and yeah, if it rains, then there'll be chaos.
Do you know what? A spot of rain just landed on that finger as you were talking. So it's not if it rains, I think it actually might be raining. So it's a good time for you to run off to the commentary box, for me to go somewhere dry, and for us to hand over to Martin Brundle, who's down on the grid. Martin.
Proper chilly down here it is. I expected it to be a lot warmer than this. Welcome to the grid if you're watching this live. Congratulations for getting up early. If you're watching it on recording, welcome anyway. A Formula One car has never started a race on this grid. Remember last year, for the 8th time in the history of Formula One, a race started behind the safety car. They weren't allowed to do any practice starts. Look, there's absolutely no tyre rubber in front of the grid slots at all. And the left-hand side here is dirty as you like, because the cars all run down the right-hand side due to the way that they exit the final corner. They need to be on the right for the first corner, which is only 120 metres, that run down there. It's the third shortest run of the year down to the first corner. And those on this side of the track, I think, are going to struggle a little bit to get away. You're not going to be going on the grass and using any of that. It's pretty soft and sandy. Now, there's a strong wind coming from behind the cars. You can see with the flags up in the top of the grandstands. And a bit of a tailwind then down into turn 1 means they'll have to brake slightly earlier. But there's a pretty big headwind component down the back straight. I remember what Vettel said if you saw qualifying yesterday. I'm not sure I want to be in the lead going down there. I might be better in second place, and picking up the slipstream, staying out of the headwind like a cyclist, and generally using the I'll really be quick. Mark, just a quickie, thank you very much, that's kind of you.
Good one. Well, it's drizzling a little bit, but I think the radar looks pretty good. So, we'll see. But at the moment, obviously, it's dry.
What was the you from this position, the grid?
Oh, we're going to go forward.
Going to be on the ragged edge today, mate?
On the ragged edge, yeah. Yes, we are. I think strategy is going to play a key role, obviously. That first pit stop, obviously, how long you can go and obviously not come out in too much traffic. Yeah, long race as well. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good battle, I think, all the way to the end.
Just telling the viewers about the headwind you're going to have down that back straight. You can duck in like you're on your cycle, yeah, and get a real tow down there.
Yeah, so if Lewis is leading after turn 1, he's going to have whoever's leading after turn 1, I think will have a bit on down the long straight.
And the track, as you were going round to form up on the grid?
It's in good shape. Yep, good shape.
Okay, have a good one. Right, Felipe Massa's not on the grid yet. It is a long run, and they've gone through the pits at least once, and you can smell rain in the air, there's no doubt about it. Let's see if we can have a quick word with Rob, if possible. Rob, quick word, we're live at the moment. Felipe's not on the grid yet, what's going on?
Well, he's coming now. I mean, he has to go from the garage to the grid, Martin. He used to drive
I'm
fast,
not complaining,
you know,
I'm just asking.
No, he's coming now. I mean, we did 3 laps to the grid, 2 starts. As normal, to be honest. He's coming now, no problem whatsoever. Fernando's not here either. I mean, we were just checking the starts and checking the car was okay, everything like that.
Why weren't you allowed to do practice starts on the grid here yesterday? There was after, say, pre-practice 3.
No idea. I'm not the right person to ask.
Okay, so you couldn't rest. So your starts are going to be critical today, yeah? You managed to get a few clutch sets in on the way round to the grid.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need to do. We need to do that to bed the clutch in, to make sure that the drivers are doing the right procedure, all the rest of it. So, I mean, normal procedure, to be honest, all okay.
So Felipe's out-qualified Fernando 4 out of the last 6 races. You must be pretty satisfied with that.
Yeah, I am. Of course I am, yeah. I mean, that's, it's all about, your teammate is your best reference, and we've got a great reference there in Fernando. You don't get much better, to be honest. So, yeah, he's getting back on form now. He's not quite back to where he should be, but he's definitely getting there, and that's good.
We saw him have to yield to Fernando last Sunday in Japan, and we're going to have to see that again, because that hurts me, let alone him.
No, I mean, he didn't yield. I mean, Fernando passed him fair and square, but I mean, he needs to improve that part of his game, and he is. We're getting there.
Well done, have a good one. He probably needs to talk to his driver, actually. Let's get out of the way. Now, here we've got Fernando Alonso's car. I think I can handle not being ignored by him today, but he's flat out with 3 or 4 Spanish TV stations. Nico Rosberg's not on the grid. Here's the Mercedes-Benz going on, the inevitable laptop, just doing the final preparations there and setting temperatures and pressures. Got a leaf blower here blowing air through dried ice into the side pod so the car doesn't gather too much heat sitting on the grid. You get a big heat soak as they come and park them. But so the Merc then, that's the 7th time this season that Rosberg's qualified 7th on the grid. Clearly his favourite spot. Petrov I had a bit of a moan on Twitter. Somebody said to me, it's Petrov, not Petrov. So we've spoken to him a couple of times. We talked to him earlier on in the race, in the programme as well. I'd really like to talk to Paul Di Resta. I can see his crash helmet. I can't see. Here comes Bruno Senna, 28 years old yesterday. Bruno, we'll just do a quick walk with you. Any news for us on weather? What's your team telling you?
Oh, there might be some rain, maybe very light, just drizzle, or maybe intensity 1. So maybe a bit of a surprise for us in terms of what's going to happen, but let's hope it stays dry.
Okay, good luck. I don't really want to go in the pit lane, so we'll wander back down this way, Matt, see if we can find somebody else. I think Adrian Sutil. We've sort of, the championship's over at the front. The racing is not. There's a lot of people really want to finish their year off in style, but we've talked a lot to the likes of Michael. Time for a quick word? I don't even know why I asked that. Let's have a look, see if we can find Adrian Sutil then. He's over there talking to Kai Abel of RTL. I won't be able to stick my microphone in there. So let's just buy a bit of time here. Last minute preparations, what's going on? Any dramas on the grid here?
No, everything's going to plan. Everybody's obviously worried about the weather, but we'll just take it as it comes.
So yeah, plenty of tyres ready in the pit lane, back in the pit lane, of all sorts, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that's normal sketch, Brian.
So it all looks remarkably calm, nothing to do on the grid then at all sorted, is it?
All sorted, mate, all ready to go.
Well done. Now we might find a quick chat with Adrian Sutil. Adrian,
hi.
So what can you tell us about the track conditions and the car?
Well, I think track conditions always a little bit dusty to start off, so going to be a bit tricky. But then we should have a decent race. The weather looks a little bit difficult at the moment as well, so I hope there's no rain coming like last year. So hopefully it's going to stay dry. We will see. So our weather forecast says it's going to be dry, so we hope for that.
So because you didn't do a lap time along with Paul in qualifying, you can choose whatever tyres you like to start the race. So that's quite an advantage, isn't it? Get in the top 10 and then have a free tyre choice.
Yeah, exactly. I decided to stay in the pits yesterday to not run in Q3. so I have new tires all the way through, and that's quite a good advantage, I think.
Okay, good luck. Thanks for talking to us. That's Michael Schumacher's car there. We know he's not on the grid. We'll do a quick fly-by with Ross Brawn. Weather forecast at Mercedes, Ross?
There's some drizzle coming over.
Some just light drizzle coming off the yellow sea there, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Ross's view. And let's just see if we can have a quick word then. Finally, got a few seconds left. Then, actually, I've got to go that way to the commentary box anyway. But can we quick word? So what can you tell us? How's you going for one of your Sauber long runs again this afternoon to shock everybody at the end?
Well, I mean, pretty difficult at the moment. I mean, we did a couple of events in, here last event, but not really brilliant. So maybe we have to find some new strategy as well. So, I mean, try the best to scoring point, and weather looks not really brilliant, so we don't know what we can do.
Could be pretty crazy in the slipstream and out of the headwind down the back straight. That's kind of Kobayashi territory, isn't it, in the turn 3?
No, not really. I mean, it's in fact quite DRS position is quite late. And I think it's quite short to overtake, so we'll see what we can do.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Martin. And that's how the grid is looking. Look at that. So much energy, so much adrenaline. And I'm alongside a man who on 11 occasions has sat there himself and geared up to take part in a Grand Prix, Karun Chandhok, who's now driving for Lotus and is also gearing up for the Indian Grand Prix in a couple of weeks. We've heard a few differing weather reports there. What are Lotus being told at the moment?
I mean, the forecast still says exactly as Bruno said to Martin, 1 out of 5 and not really a chance of rain. But I tell you what, I've got the wrong strategy here in T-shirt and shorts because I'm freezing. It does, I mean, you could feel the moisture in the air, can't you? I don't know, but it's quite a high cloud. It's not like big black clouds we had here on Friday, where, it did just chuck it down. It's quite a high cloud at the moment, so I think they could be right. It could just be a light drizzle or something, but we've seen how this surface, and we've talked about it a lot this weekend, how slippery and how just low grip it is. And I think even that little bit of drizzle would just take the edge off the top surface, so it can be tricky.
OK, well, shorts and T-shirt, clearly the wrong decision. And you know how important strategy is these days in Formula One. One man who tends to get his strategy spot on is Jenson Button. He's with Lee McKenzie.
Well, Jenson, you start third today, but we've never actually had a standing start at this racetrack, have we? So it's a bit of an unknown.
Yeah, it is. I think a lot is today. We had a pretty wet Friday and Saturday morning. Most of it's on lower fuel, so I think it's going to be an experience a little bit into the unknown for all of us, but it'll be good fun, I think. Hopefully we'll put on a good show out there. Really not sure what the weather's doing either. It's a bit dark today, isn't it?
Would you rather it was rain or dry?
I'd rather it was dry, to be fair. When you got a quick car, I think you'd rather it to be dry. So, yeah, see what we get. I'm looking forward to it.
And aggressive from the start?
We'll see.
Thanks, Jenson.
Cheers.
Aggressive from the start? I think so, because he's starting alongside Sebastian Vettel, and you know what happened between those two 7 days ago. And look at that, Jenson Button fans travelling thousands of miles to support their man, and there he is starting on the grid. And if we're talking about slightly changeable weather conditions, he is the man to put your money on in a race like this, Karun.
Yeah, he's been very good. We've seen on a number of occasions in the past with changing conditions. But it's interesting, Lee asking about aggressive start. I think we've got the two most aggressive starters, apart from Fernando Alonso. But, the two most aggressive guys ahead of him on the grid, on the front row. I think, looking at Fernando on our screen there, he looks quite determined, doesn't he? Look at that. He's walked down to the front of the grid alongside where Lewis's car is. And he's looking down at that first corner, at his run to the first corner.
What would he be thinking there, do you think?
I think just trying to see where's the best place to place the car, whether inside or outside. I always tended to have a pre-plan. You can't preempt what other people are going to do, but I would always, before the start, plan in my head that I would ideally want to be inside or outside. Some circuits, you'd rather be on the outside to give yourself a bit more width, maybe use the outside tarmac and gain track position. Nürburgring's one of them, so it's good to have a plan in place.
OK, so Fernando, he starts 6th. That man starts 2nd, and Red Bull were delighted with 2nd on the grid. He's on what they call the dirty side, and that could have quite an effect here. Will he struggle to stay in front of Jenson Button from the start?
I think it's just low grip everywhere. There hasn't been a lot of rubber that's gone down on the track. I cycled on the track last night,
And in fact, for some reason, they were sweeping up all the rubber that was offline as well, which was a bit strange yesterday.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think, so it's not really dirty offline because they were sweeping it up yesterday and I nearly got run over for it.
Seeing Timo Glock, you've got to be careful of those sweepers. Seeing Timo Glock is a good reason to quickly talk about Lotus. You're in front of Virgin. Can you race the teams in front, the likes of Williams today?
I think under normal circumstances, probably not. But, you know, we've seen with when you have strange racing with the weather and stuff, anything's possible. But under normal circumstances, I think in terms of pace, we're still a bit far away.
OK, well, the aim for today for Lewis Hamilton is to beat that man and the rest of the grid to the checkered flag. The aim all season for everyone has been to beat Red Bull in qualifying. And yesterday, finally it happened, and this is how.
The car on pole position is not dark blue, it's silver. Let's find out why with Lewis Hamilton in the McLaren. 3.5 miles, 18 corners. This is the relatively short pit straight, 185 miles an hour. Heavy braking for turn 1, a left-hander taken in first gear. Turn 2 follows immediately, it's full throttle. Onto the 1100 metre straight on your way down to turn 3. This is where the DRS zone is in the race. Just under 200 miles an hour, bringing the car gently to the left-hand side for the braking point. An easy one to get wrong. Spots the apex beautifully. Building up to another 185 mile an hour straight on our way down to turn 4. Past the support pits and again bringing the car to the right-hand side. It's a long left-hander. Down to first gear again. He uses that to keep the revs up. It blows the exhaust underneath the car, gives him more grip through these slower corners. A little bit of patience required here. This is turn 6. Now he really lets it go. Turn 7 ahead. Look at this. Absolutely flat out. Over 170 miles an hour. Still not lifting through turn 8. A very fast part of the racetrack. 9 again carrying plenty of speed. Now we have to slow it down to just 65 miles an hour for turn 10 using all of the track. 11 is a long left-hander that just nips in the final part and you have to slow for a second time. This turn 12 is just 90 miles an hour on the apex. 13 is much faster, 140 miles an hour. Plenty of commitment required there. Turn in from the wall into 14 at 110 miles an hour. 15 and 16 ahead. Effectively one long sweeping left-hand arc. So important to take good speed out of here. You're flat out to the finish line. Turn 17 as we go into slow motion. We can see he opens the DRS and has to fight the back of the car. Still he drives for the line. His first pole position of the year, and that pleased the team.
Well, no smile from Lewis Hamilton, but plenty of smiles from the teams. He starts at the front, but Karun, if he's going to stay there, he's going to have to defend from guys behind him using DRS down the back straight. And also the wind is blowing right towards the cars, so you can hide from that wind and get a good tow behind Lewis Hamilton. He could have lots of cars fighting him.
Yeah, obviously the DRS isn't enabled for the first 2 laps, but as you rightly said, there's a headwind coming down that straight, and even without the DRS, he's going to cut a massive hole in the air. I mean, all this is assuming that he gets off the line ahead of Sebastian anyway into turn 1.
Well, of course, we're assuming, aren't we, that he's going to do a good start at this race, and there we can see Adrian Stuttel walking to his car, gearing up to start. Sorry, Paul de Resta walking to his car, gearing up for this race. Let's hear very quickly from Christian Horner.
Well, Christian, you clearly believe you're in the pound seats, even though you're not actually on pole with this tyres.
To be honest, it's very difficult to know. With no dry running on Friday and quite an aggressive tyre choice by Pirelli here, who knows? So it's going to be a bit of a voyage of discovery.
Is Sebastian in a World Championship hangover, or is he keen to win this one?
No, he's very focused. Obviously, this race was very disappointing for him last year. So, yeah, he's really up for it. And, you know, hopefully we can make it a really good race with the McLarens.
OK, have a good one. Thanks.
So, Christian's ready, the fans are ready, Karun Chandhok is ready. Karun, who's going to win this one?
Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, nice. I'm glad you said that because, of course, it's Lewis who starts on pole, but that man is the Formula One world champion this year. Right, time to now hand over the reins to David Coulthard and Martin Brundle, and how great it feels to say it's time for a race where Lewis Hamilton is on pole position. The lifestyle, the girlfriend, the pressure, the expectation, they've all been discussed this year. Let's hope today we're simply talking about the talent. It's time for the 2011 Korean Grand Prix.
It's about driving, it's about where you are in your head, it's about a combination of things, and I've just not been doing the job. Spa, I got caught out, I was P2. I could have finished on the podium, but I didn't. Hungary, I was P1 and spun, and I could have been further up, could have won the race. hopefully will try to redeem myself.
Anybody who thinks I can't do it anymore, best step right back and take that.
Lewis Hamilton takes it, pole position. He's just got the thing alive. We haven't seen that for a little while.
He looked like the Hamilton of old.
Take that. Get going! Well done! Take that. I got the formula and I'll rain on all of ya. So take that. And I'm balling, but I don't rub it in your face. Furthermore, take that. Anybody who thinks I can't do it anymore, best step right back and take that. I got the formula. I got the formula. Take that. I'll rain on all of ya. I'll rain on all of ya. Don't rub it in your face. Furthermore, take that.
He's rediscovered his mojo and he sent a message to everyone. Anyone who doubted me, check that lap out.